Hello?
Hey.
Yeah, I was on, but nobody was talking.
I didn't hear you until you said hello.
Just saying that no one was talking to wanted to make sure we were here.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
Hello?
Hey, Colin.
So, how's everybody's level 3?
Pretty good. I really should one of these days have a character that has Constitution modifiers, but other than that, pretty good. I got all kinds of heal stuff. My heal is double as effective as it was.
I got a +1 weapon.
Whoa!
look at
That is
that.
insane.
Weapon Master birthright ability.
Awesome.
Check out the Star of Rovanian.
Woohoo!
Nice crit.
Yeah. Ah, but you're only using it with one hand. Come on, man.
Now I took. I also get improved dueling, so I get +2 attack when I'm using a one-handed weapon.
Nice. Well, let's keep that. Is that why it's +8? That's insane.
I'm rolling +8 now.
That is crazy.
Oh, Weapon Masters.
That's nuts. I'll the new last week's video will be posted today. It's about an hour and 12 minutes away from being converted to something YouTube will appreciate. I didn't spend the time I spent on the first one because that was insane. The first one I went through and I cut out, us looking up rules and stuff like that, but that took me like 6 hours. So this time I just cut the beginning off and let it go.
Just gotta hire an editing assistant.
Exactly. I was planning on, well, the reason I didn't post it yet was I was planning on editing it, but I just never got the time to do it. So I was like, I better get it up there, just get it out. So that's what I'm doing now.
The cats can do it, right?
Yeah, exactly. They got to do something for their food other than ask for it. Are we expecting Stallianos?
Wondering the same thing. I haven't heard from him one way or the other.
I'll send him an email just to see. I talked to Ernie. He doesn't have time to join, so.
Yeah,
I want to give Stylianos another 5 minutes and then start if he's not here by then.
we could start talking about fellowship actions since those are kind of individual anyway.
Yep. Did you get my email about what I wanted to do?
That sounds good. Are those the two you want to do?
Yeah.
Don't have any issues with them. So
Okay. So we'll. Do you want to talk through it or?
yeah, the you wanted some details on the key players of the
Folk Moot.
Yeah, the Folk Moot. I wanted to double check if you had said it, your specific wording to the request.
Yeah, I said my first objective is to find out as much as I can about the Folk Moot. Who are the major players? What are the factions? I don't know. It says I get 3 questions. Are they like 3 questions as in like commune, where it's actually I have to word 3 questions, or is it 3 questions like 3 things I want to have answers about?
So I'm trying to remember the exact wording of what you're looking. This is one of your doing this as a fellowship action.
Right.
And was this some specific thing in the rules?
Yeah, it's yeah, let me pull up the rule. Sorry, I should have had this open. Does someone else want to chat while I'm looking this up?
I'm definitely going to spend one of my actions trying to improve my holding.
So I think I was going to use my first action to try to meet with the mayor and see if I can talk my way into getting paid for my town clerk position. Because I am flat broke.
Research lore on page 202.
Okay. I do just want to say to the Inglemer, I want to go back and retroactively say Inglemer gave you 10 silver each for your help of looking into his wife.
Ooh, I'm rich.
Ooh.
That's 5 times as much money as I had. It's going to be weird to have silver as, 20? 20 silver, or and then
It's 20.
12 copper per silver or something like that.
202 of the player's guide or the lore master?
I don't have the lore master. I have just the player's guide.
Down at the bottom of the page, yep.
Yep. Now I'm not sure. I mean, that's like history and ancient lore. It was the closest thing I could find to what I want to. I didn't see anything else that fit in just trying to find information.
Yeah, you can go ahead with lore. I think that fits.
Okay, cool. And then the things I wanted were, let me open it up. Yeah, my first objective is to find out as much as I can about the Folk Moot, who the major players are, what the factions are, and what their major concerns are. I also know that Saywin the Generous from East Fight, I think, is hoping to make an alliance. I'm just curious who he's making an alliance with. Is it the woodsmen as a whole, or is it a particular group of woodsmen? And then what the likely responses from the major factions would be to that.
Yep. Okay, let me see your roll then.
And then, okay. Now, how
Looking
many
at your
questions? How many questions is that? Because I'm not sure what would be known and what would be a question.
It depends. If you just ask about the general players, I'll give you an overview. If you want more details, that would have to be a separate question.
Okay. And then I also wanted to gather some information, any information on Magdra.
Yep.
And if there are any...
We'll go one at a time.
Okay.
We roll.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I could get all
Might have
three.
a follow-up too.
Right. Okay. Okay. So lore it goes. Lore is fine, right?
Yep, lore.
Lore. Ooh, not as good as I thought it was, but let's see.
Yeah,
16.
Oops, got it. So, the major players, and I'll try to paste some of this, but I'll read it first.
Okay.
So, Inglemer, the guy I sent you to look his wife, is the head of the Council of Elders in Woodland Hall, and he's generally considered one of the most important people at the Folk Moot, and he often keeps order and generally runs it. Although he doesn't have a leadership role, he's very well respected and keep things under control. You've got Heartfast of the House of Mountain Hall. He's the chieftain of Mountain Hall. He usually shows up at these. You've got Fridwald, the runner of the House of Woodman Town. He's an old man that serves as chief messenger and runner between the 3 woodman settlements of Mirkwood. Despite his advanced age, he's still pretty hale and hearty and said to know the paths of the forest better than anyone else. Of course, Radagast the Brown, but he's usually doesn't say much or do much participating. He's there and he's well respected, but he mostly plays with children and shows off his dancing mice and stuff like that. Amaliota, Shield Maiden of the Black Tarn. She and her kin live on the western shore of the Black Tarn, and they're the woodmen who live the closest to the shadow of Dol Guldur. She's been in charge of her family since her father's death. Those are the major factions that generally come. And of course, Saywin the Generous is planning to come. He's from East Bite. And he wants an alliance. I will go answer that for you as part of this. That he wants a general alliance with the Woodsmen as a whole. I will paste some of those names for you.
Thanks. And so he is not a woodsman himself?
No, but their people are cousins of the Woodsmen. They're not too distantly related. As for Brendan, you wanted to try to get a paying job. So you, Galavira, you're chatting with her, and she's talking. Well, you've been trying to make yourself useful. If you want some pay, I'm planning to go to the Folk Moot. You can come with and help represent my interests there. And if you do a good job, there'll be some coin in it for you. Maybe something on a more permanent basis if you prove useful enough.
Sounds good to me. Now, Radagast didn't actually ask us to do anything specific at the Folk Moot, right?
Nothing specific from him, other than generally keep the peace and move things in a good direction.
All right, so I don't see any contradiction with representing both of them.
You had more questions, Adam. Let's see. There's word from Tyrant Hill that they've been requesting tribute from the people of Black Tarn. That's the news you have there. And it's Tyrant Hill, like a tyrant. And he wanted to find the general whereabouts of any local medicinal herbs. I'll say for that one, I'll give you a, since you used one of your questions for it to get you started, I'll give you advantage on your check for gathering herbs. Assuming you still want to do that as your other action. You there, Adam?
Adam?
Oh, I've been talking on mute. Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I still want to do that. Nature or survival?
That's a tough one. I'd say either would work in this case.
Okay. I'm better at survival, so I'll do that. Yeah, sure. Woohoo!
Okay, with that roll, let's say, oh shoot, I lost my spot looking up your rules. I had the herbs all open, and I went and looked at the research lore. Where were they?
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem. Shouldn't be too hard to find them again.
Yeah, I'm looking them up too. And
you definitely find, let's say, 2 Athelas. You can use enough Athelas to make 2 cells from that.
All right.
And enough hagweed for 1 hagweed potion.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm also part of my level. I get to pick one of my specialties, and it's going to be in herbs and using them for more than just what they say here. This here. Ah! It's a lot longer than I thought it would be. Yeah, I like this one right here. The hagweed, ground into a paste and smoked, can remove 1 shadow point. And Athela.
That's some good weed.
Yeah. Athela.
I see what he did there.
Pardon?
Did I see what he did there? It's some good weed to get rid of
Yes.
Ugh.
Some strong stuff.
Couldn't you just like pump your dungeon full of this? Turn all the prisoners good again eventually.
Well, it only goes back so far. Once
Get rid
you
of permanent shadow points, only the temporary ones.
exactly.
Yeah, I was thinking, I've been playing a lot of Disgaea lately. Should we try some Disgaea style leveling? Level up at that speed. And are you familiar with that game? That game series?
I'm not familiar with it.
Not in a long time.
Yeah, it's known for having very high level cap, and for the entire series is always capped out at 9,999.
Oh, that one.
In the newest game that just came out, they upped it. You can now get all the way up to level 99,999,999.
That's insane. Grinding away.
Yeah. I'm up to about 50 million now. Although I just beat the hardest content currently in the game, so not much more point in grinding.
Yeah, I just bought Dragon Quest XI. Very minimal combat, which surprised me for a JRPG.
I've just been playing Portal for some reason again. It's fun. And I've forgotten most of the stuff.
No, I believe Colin still has both of his fellowship actions, and we need one more from Brendan. Well, Colin said you were going to do that, try and improve your holding.
Yeah, according to my calculations, after spending all of the money to change my gear up, I have 3 gold, 2 silver. So I'd like to spend the 3 gold to get up to level 1.
Okay.
Colin, I think whatever issue you were having with your microphone from last time has been resolved, and now it needs to turn the gain down.
This.
I heard that. A little soft, but it was clear.
A little nudge up.
That's better.
I haven't figured out what I want to do for the second one yet. It's either research lore or something else. I don't know.
So I want to do research lore.
Fine. Make me answer a lot of questions, everyone. Okay, go ahead.
So my character is curious about those human ruins we encountered in Mirkwood. So I guess that would be a history check.
Yeah.
Can I assist and...
Well, I already have advantage.
Oh.
You get it automatically if you spend your fellowship action doing it. I believe that is exactly enough to succeed.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I guess my first question is, what was the civilization that created those ruins?
Well, I'm going to have to make this up on the spot, but we'll say it was a second age human kingdom in the area.
Okay, question number 2 is, what destroyed that civilization? Why is it ruined?
One of the wars with the shadow, I guess. They lost a lot of people. It wasn't completely wiped out, but there a lot of strife and hard to keep the civilization going with the damage. And most of them just emigrated. The country fell apart. They moved to other parts.
Okay, and number 3, is it likely that there are any treasures or artifacts left that haven't already been looted?
Significant value, if there were, they would be very well hidden, buried. Anything easy to find is likely to have been looted a while ago, but I mean, it's been around for quite a while. It's possible if you dug, but it'd be a long shot.
Okay, so that's my fellowship action, and I also want to sell my longsword.
Okay.
And I assume I can get the standard 20 silver for it?
Yeah.
I no longer need a non-+1 weapon.
You and your weapon.
Now, just as any free time that I had, I would have spent chatting with the two of you, just to become friends. Hang out, that kind of thing.
I'll be friends with you.
If you guys are up for it.
And much carousing was done?
Yes.
I guess I would just probably be helping people research lore, but I don't have any particular questions that I want to have answered.
Yeah, it looks like there's no roll on that improving the rating. It's just something that happens if you pay for it. So, what kind of holding were you making again? Were you keeping it a farm?
And I'm trying to make it so that you show up at the price of admission.
Yes, and I remember now.
Yeah. I got a tavern room to just speak to, and no one can tell me to shut up because I own the place. So I guess I only really need the one action. I can spend the other action just relaxing. You can say I'm recovering even though I'm not actually injured or anything that needs recovery.
Wait, how did you get 3 gold?
I sold all my shit. And I had 20 gold at the beginning. I hadn't spent plus 10 gold from the
Wait,
thing.
20 gold?
Sorry, 20 silver.
Okay, that makes more sense.
So now I've got 2 silver. But plus 1 in. Not as cool as a plus 1 sword.
Hit something with your id.
Now, when we have a house, are we assumed to have things like beds and stuff like that are of? For me, it would probably be straw on the floor, but is that the? Are we assumed to have that kind of stuff, or is that something we need to buy?
I'll say it. Assume some basic bedding was left behind.
Okay. Like when you spend this 3 gold, are you getting furniture and stuff like that, or is it just general repairs on the house? You know what I mean? Like he wants to start an inn. Is he?
Yeah, I think it's both.
You think it's what?
I think it's both. We got a really shitty place and we're repairing it. I'm adding a keg.
Yeah, he basically did 3 gold worth of renovations.
Okay.
So his place is probably a fair bit nicer than yours now.
Yes, it is. That's why I like to go over there.
I wanted to be friends.
Freeload off of your inn.
As long as you tell me what cool shit you do out in the wilds, I'm fine.
Yep. I'm not really freeloading. actually genuinely wanted to be friends. I mean, we've gone through life and death together. We almost died a few times.
Somehow we survived.
All right, so are we ready to get journeying again?
I'm ready.
Yep.
Yeah. You didn't pick your second action, did you, Colin?
I was just saying I don't really have a use for it, so I was just gonna say I spent it quote unquote recovering.
You there are a couple of options. Like you could try to open Roscabal as a sanctuary, or make Radagast a Brown official patron, or something like that. Those are a couple of options if you have one you want to do.
Oh, I would be down to make Radagast my patron. What do we have to do that?
Considering that you're already somewhat friendly with him and he's helping you, I would say if you used your fellowship action trying to declare yourself an official servant of his, or friend, or however you want to refer to it, to make him your patron, that you would just succeed it.
I want to be one of his friends, like the woods, like a bird, but a person.
That's your new rank, bird.
Bird.
Maybe one day you'll level up to deer.
Well, that's a level down. You lose the ability to fly.
But you get those sweet antlers.
Can't just be
Anyway, recap if I understand. I'll try to do it. After your previous adventure with the last summer with the spiders and the soldiers attacking you in the night, you retired from adventuring for the year. You had a good, exciting year. You had new lands to tend, things to do. You stayed fairly close. Colin built up the holding he got, paid out for some help from the villagers, built it up into a more respectable inn, a bit bigger, better furnished. Nothing spectacular, but an above average shack in the village now. And spent, when they were busy with constructing, didn't need much oversight, and he wasn't helping out. He spent some time at Roscabal too, chatting with Radagast the Brown, making friends with him. Whereas Adam's character, while being friendly with his adventuring companions, also was kept his ear to the wind, was getting rumors on the, trying to find information on the upcoming End Moot. They'd be not End Moot, Folk Moot. Wrong Moot.
I'd like words on that too. I'd like to say that I was doing it as part of, going around as a healer,
Going around as a healer, collecting herbs, hearing what he can, finding information.
Yep.
Hearing what she can, getting, practicing her trade. And meanwhile, I got to memorize your character names better. Lady Tolthriel was split her time between doing research on those ruins. He found that it interested her in trying to get more gainful employ in their small town. Not very interested in being a farmer, not kind of beneath their station, wants to at least some sort of gainful employ. That's my understanding. If everyone likes that summary, if not, chirp in.
Yeah, I think my character would be trained in stuff like farm administration, but not the actual farming, so she'd probably be consistently bad at it. And
now, after a long winter, spring is coming again. Snow is melted, weather's warming up, and people are heading out for the Folk Moot, including Galavera, who wants to figure she'll just travel with you, and she heard you're all heading there.
Sounds good.
The more the merrier.
Is it a large group of people, or is it just
We figured
three of
that,
us? And
the three of you are enough accompaniment to keep her safe on the journey, and she doesn't want too many people from the village. They can't afford to have too many people leaving all the time. There's work to be done, farming to do.
Yep. Fields to plow. So is it spring, or is it early spring? Or
early, somewhat early. It's not like winter just ended, but yeah, enough time for people to. Well, it's still early now because you're about to travel, but it's time for people further to travel too. So you didn't leave as soon as it turned spring.
So the mud has dried out a bit.
people have started planting.
Yep. Now, I guess we can start off with the embarkation roll when people decide rolls, which I assume are the same as
Yes.
always.
I assume so. But is that just to clarify? I'm going to guide. We need a hunter, a
Out and
I was the lookout last time.
Yeah, I was the scout.
Yep. So we'll need someone to double up. I'm good at survival, so I can hunt as well. If Ben is okay with me doing both.
Yep.
I'm bad at it.
Okay. And I'm just trying to find my embarkation rules. It's a 12-sider, right?
Yep. D12 plus your proficiency plus
plus
half your wisdom.
proficiency plus half my wisdom. Yes. So let's roll that D12. 6 plus my proficiency is 2 plus half my wisdom is 1, so 9.
-1 for the peril, which is just 1, which is following
Okay.
road.
So 8. 8 is fine weather. Each morning brings a beautiful sunrise that raises spirits and fills all who see it with hope for the day ahead. When rain falls, it is cooling and soothing to a weary traveler. The wind seems to be no more than a light breeze, and snow or frost sparkle beneath clear, bright skies, creating majestic and breathtaking vistas. As a result, each member of the company may ignore the first exhaustion point that they accrue during this journey.
Woohoo!
Forced march it is then.
To take advantage of it, huh?
Okay, I've got to figure out the events now.
Woohoo,
My
woohoo.
GM.
I've been a pretty good guide so far, knock on wood.
I always try DM roll before I try GM roll.
Stuck in the old, I always say DM. Old school.
You mean Roll20 didn't change the keyboard interface to make you type in LM?
I'm too glad I don't just get both. I know people are going to try both.
Just set up a keyboard macro to change all your D's to G's. What could possibly go wrong?
I'm actually going to add a roll for my journey.
Oh, this fits in perfectly too. You got a lucky roll here.
Uh-oh.
You're traveling for a bit, and as you get passing through that area where you found the head, of course, Lady Tolthrill can't help but look around and see to try to find something interesting. And a little digging under one fallen section, she actually does discover something very old. Now, each companion must make a wisdom check.
Uh-oh.
If successful, you gain inspiration. If you succeed by 5 or more, you may remove a level of exhaustion. If you fail, you must make a wisdom saving throw, gain 2 points of shadow.
Oh.
If you initial check by 5 or more, then you must make the saving throw, gain a level of exhaustion. And if at least half the company succeeds, you get a +1 to the arrival roll, otherwise a -1. But as an added bonus here, Lady Tolthiel is very excited about it, which you find, even if it wasn't exactly what she's looking for. You can choose to take the check at disadvantage, but if you succeed, it counts as succeeding by 5 or more. Which I don't think would matter right now because you don't have any exhaustion.
All right, so it's a
We don't want
wisdom.
to do that.
So it's just we start with a wisdom check, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, my wisdom modifier is +0, so disadvantage sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah, and it wouldn't get you anything because you don't have any exhaustion anyway.
All right, wisdom check. Wow.
What? What?
Well, the hound succeeds and gains inspiration. As Lady Tolthriel and Bill Sedger both fail by 5 or more. So you must make a... Oh, wait a second. Yes, the first wisdom check is not DC 15. It's based on the peril rating. So it's only DC 13, which means Bill does not fail by 5 or more. He just fails. Oof. But now you have to make a DC 15 wisdom save or gain 2 shadow points. And since Lady Tolthiel failed by 5 or more, you also gain a level of exhaustion. Or you can ignore the first one because of the journey table. Even if you fail, you just lose that benefit.
So I failed that.
If you gain 2 points of shadow, this is this relic is something of the shadow that had to do with the fall of the kingdom.
The precious.
Yeah.
How long is this lasting? Can I
It was
use my
a shadow
Sorry.
forged. We'll say it was a shadow forged dagger that had been used by some of the orcs in the area when they were fighting this kingdom.
Well, that's going in the equipment list.
I was gonna try and give you a D6 on that, but oh well. Let's see what I get.
And since at least half the company failed, you get a -1 modifier to the arrival roll. Make a note of that.
Yep. So did both my friends here get shadow?
Yep, they both get 2 points of shadow.
Boo.
Boo. I can heal. I know with that herb, I can cure one.
Oh, wait, what was the wording on that thing? Do you actually not get the exhaustion, or you just ignore the first level of exhaustion?
Ignore the first level, I think.
I
is
think you
what it
are
says.
exhausted. You just don't get the penalty from it for the moment.
Yes. Right.
You're really really tired yourself out digging it up. You're pretty frantic looking for something.
Yeah.
Now you're exhausted.
It says may ignore, whatever that means.
Huh, so that's the same shadow gain as stolen from an ancient barrow. Okay, I guess that means I am now arrogant.
No, you have to.
Wait, yeah. You didn't have any madness, did you? This is just temporary shadow points until you get up to your wisdom total. So there's no penalty unless you get up to your wisdom the first time. I don't believe.
Correct.
So is that up to my wisdom? Is that my wisdom modifier?
No, your wisdom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they pass out shadow like candy in some of this stuff.
Yeah. It's rereading the book. It's some pretty bleak. It's a pretty bleak world.
Yeah, it's fucking shadow everything.
Yep. And the elves actually envy the humans because they get to die.
Despite the fact that no one has any idea what human heaven is like.
Yep.
Well, the scout gets to make another investigation check.
Now I roll well.
Oh, yeah. Your journey continues, and as you're drawing near, you find a really great spot for camp that you set up, able to rest real well. Nice spot for it. So you all recover a level of exhaustion and gain +1 to the arrival roll. So you canceled out all the bad stuff except the shadow from the last one.
Nice.
The rest of your trip is pretty uneventful, and you manage to arrive in Roscabal. You stay a couple of days waiting for other arrivals, but pretty soon they're all there and they're ready to start the Folk Moot.
So, does my character realize that this dagger is evil?
You recognize that it doesn't seem to be human-made, that it was likely used against the humans, but we'll say your shadow is because you couldn't bear to leave it despite that. This is an ancient relic of the past or something like that. That sounds good to you?
Okay, so
You
my
knew you
character
probably couldn't keep it, but you couldn't bear to part with it.
would probably not sell it.
I mean, if you wanted to, if that was your plan, and that's why you were looting to sell it, and that's also acceptable. I want it to be your character. I'm just giving some ideas, but
Like I feel it depends on why I got the shadow points. Like if I got the shadow points because I'm covetous towards the dagger itself, then I wouldn't sell it.
Yep, that's up to you. You come up with some motivation that fits why you're getting shadow, then I'll probably accept it.
Let's see. No, I think my character. I think the shadow is probably more pride that I have such an item, rather than greed. So I guess I'm not selling it.
My shadow is definitely from greed. I've got the lure of power. Should be mine.
So both of you want it.
I do a scary Bilbo face.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the One Ring. It's not that bad, right?
Yeah,
But I'm naturally scarier than Bilbo.
It's true.
in terms of what it does, it's an ordinary dagger. It's just tainted a little with the shadow based on its creation and it's what it was used for.
I'll mount it above the mantelpiece. Surely nothing will ever go wrong with it.
So everyone you were expecting has shown up. All the people I mentioned to Adam. A couple other additions that Fridwald, the runner, is brought his nephew with him, a lazy boy of 10. He's been trying to convince him to be a messenger for the woodman too, but so far his nephew isn't very interested in it. As I said, he's pretty lazy. And Boffrey, son of Beaufort, the dwarf who's been around Woodsman Town, has shown up too. He's been spreading the word that he's interested in finding some people to help him explore the remains of the old forest road. That there's talk of possibly repairing it.
Now I know. I'm sorry.
You're free to have spent, because it hasn't quite started yet. If you wanted to go around chatting with any of these people or talking with them, you're free to do that, or we can jump right to the mood if you're not interested in that.
Well, I have a noble bearing background, so however that affects how people treat me here.
Okay.
I'm going to look for any word about the murders that happened last year in Western Eves.
Okay. There's actually a fair bit of rumors going around of them. No one knows any details. It seems to usually be farm animals that get killed off. Although there has been one additional murder of a young farmhand. Some people think it's a work of goblins, but most people discount that because they haven't really been able to find traces, and goblins aren't known for being stealthy.
Okay.
Some people think it's just a common murderer or a madman, or even people telling ghost stories that it's some vengeful spirit out to get people. But it's mostly just rumors. No one really has anything solid, and word spreading like it tends to, and this sort of thing happens.
And then let's see, people we know, we would know Radagast, we would know Ingomar. I'll chat with Ingomar to see what just get a lay of what to expect, see if he has any thoughts on Seawin and the Alliance and that kind of thing.
Okay, so he greets you and you go to talk to him. Says, I hear you've taken up living in my wife's village.
Yeah, it's been working out pretty well. I got started a business as a healer there.
Well, that's good news, I suppose. It does feel good that someone's I trust is keeping an eye on her. I just only hope that she's, let's say, been a bit more stable lately. Than she's been somewhat troubled since our son disappeared.
I don't think I've heard of their son disappearing. I guess I will say that.
You probably would have known, just being from the area, that a number of years ago their son disappeared. Never was found. Was out in the woods one day. No trace of him.
Okay. Any have I noticed anything odd about her about her behavior? Or?
No, and you'd also know that that this is pretty standard X talk. And neither of them has been very fond of each other. They had a falling out after their son disappeared, and
yeah, I was thinking that that's what it was, but I just wanted to make sure. Okay. Yeah, things seem to be going all right. So, have you heard anything about this Seawin and what he's looking for?
Yes, there's some cousins of the Woodman. They're building a settlement in Eastbite, and they'd like to be counted as one of our number. That they'd like to be considered Woodmen with all the alliance and rights and responsibilities thereof.
Any thoughts on that you're willing to share?
Well, I believe he's a good person. I don't see any real problem with this. It could be good for all of us to have another source of trade.
Are there any representatives from Tyrant's Hill here?
None that you can see.
So I guess I ask around to see if it's normal for Tyrant's Hill to skip the Folk Moot.
Yeah, it's only very recent there's been a settlement of humans in Tyrant's Hill. That until he was chased out, it was one of the strongholds of the necromancer. And these men moved in after they were driven from the area. No one considers them woodsmen, so they're not weren't even invited to the Folk Moot.
Ah, yes. I wanted to introduce myself. I don't know. I'm from the area, so I probably know these people, or no?
Yeah, you might not know all of them by name. Some of them wouldn't recognize, but I mean, you might not know them personally, but you know them at least by name. The important ones. They might not all recognize you, but they know a woodman when they see one.
Okay, cool. So I'd like to go to Ameliada, the Black Tarn Shield Maiden.
Ameliota, I don't know.
That sounds good. Ameliota. I'd like to go to her and see if I can find any information about what the Tyrant Hill situation is down there. That I had heard that they were requesting tribute, and how are they handling it?
Yeah, we don't know much about it. They've considered apparently our lands their domain, and they've been asking for tribute. So far, we've been stalling, trying to come to a decision, but we're just not exactly sure how to handle it. We don't consider ourselves servants of them, but at the same time, the tribute offers haven't been too extreme, and it might be go poorly to make enemies of them.
Okay. Well, maybe with Seawind coming in, if we, I guess it's a vote to approve, we'd be stronger together, and might be able to dissuade them.
Yes, it's definitely something we'd like to discuss. If the woodmen are united on the front of how to deal with this, it would be give us more options. Anyone else doing any activities during this time?
I wanted to talk to Radagast and just catch up.
Yes, you've been doing some chatting for when you got him as a patron. Pleased to see you again. I'm glad you arrived. I really getting the feeling I can trust you a bit as to keeping this on the right track. I only reiterate the importance of this. I have a feeling this is going to be a more important folk moot than usual.
Seems like there's a lot to be worried about.
Yes. I'm still troubled by the news of the orcs.
Yeah, they should be on the top of our discussion topics, I would say.
Thankfully, so far, there haven't been any other reports that I'm aware of, even from my friends.
Let's just keep an ear and eye out.
That is what I intend to do. So, anyone else want to do anything else before we move on to the main folk moot?
No, I think I chatted people up.
Okay, then as eventually the people start gathering up for the folk moot, as they're coming in, Ingomar announces them, even makes an announcement of the visiting lady Tolthriel, noble from a foreign land.
Are we allowed to bring weapons into the Folk Moot?
Yes.
All right, I get. I should point out, as long as I'm carrying my sword, I get advantage on intimidate and persuade.
Okay.
Ooh.
So he announces most of the people I mentioned before: the Fridwold, the Runner, Heartfast of the House of Mountain Hall, Amaliota of Shield Maiden of the Black Tarn arrives. Both Boffrey, son of Beaufort, doesn't get officially announced, but he's shows up at least to listen, though he's not going to have any real say in the events. After he's done announcing most of the people, they begin talking. First, the assembled elders begin discussing trade between their houses and their allies. The traders of Mountain Hall are complaining about the tolls requested by the Bjornings. The folk of Woodman Town are asking for more iron and tin. There's even some other foreign merchants have shown up just to try to sell some swords and spearheads made by dwarves in the north. With this gathering of people is a good opportunity for them to sell. So there's usually some merchants that show up. After this initial little minute detail, finish up with the trade discussions that are boring some people. The folk of Black Tarn go to make a motion. Amaliota begins to speak after everyone's paying full attention. Says the recent years have brought wonderful harvests. The lake is alive with fish. The pestilent fogs that sometimes flow up from the south are gone. The maiden of the lake welcomes our presence. So we're actually hoping to raise another longhouse and build a larger walled settlement. We'd like to invite more woodmen to come south and join us. Times are good for us, and we could use some additional hands to further develop. The general mood at this is pretty positive. You can see some of the woodmen listening are pretty excited by this news. Things are going so well. There's more chatting and discussion about it, but in general, the mood seems pretty positive. You get the feeling that this is a proposal that's likely to pass. But eventually, as the talk starts to die down, Ingomar speaks. One of our people, though a kin from afar, has asked to speak here. Come forth, Saywin. So Saywin the Generous climbs up on a platform to address the crowd. For those who do not know me, my people dwell in the east bight of Mirkwood. There, the soil is fertile, close to the rich lands of Dale and Dorwinion. It was home of the Northmen of old. Got many followers and a sturdy longhouse. I'm hoping to be counted among the woodmen. We'd like to better learn how to survive in the Mirkwood. We offer friendship and wealth in exchange. This news isn't quite as favorably accepted. Some people seem interested in this, whereas particularly in the people of Heartfast of Mountain Hall, are somewhat suspicious. They don't feel they're newcomers and don't really want to be welcoming new people in there. And it's even further from Woodman Town than although they do admit that it's their own hold is even further from the Woodman Town than East Bight, and they're counted among the woodmen. So some of the numbers are arguing that it's pretty split overall. They're not quite sure how this one is going to go.
Is this just like sort of majority rules, sort of?
Pretty much.
And then I guess, are we going to hear a bunch of arguments and then vote on each of them? Or is it like,
Yeah. Basically going to hear any proposals put forth, and then once all the discussions are done, all the proposals will be put up for vote.
gotcha.
Does this all happen on this one day, or is it something that they bring things up now and then later they'll?
Yeah, the plan is just to do it this one day.
Okay.
Well, there's been some going on before that. The people of East Bight have been giving some small gifts and food and drink, and some might call them bribes, although not so lavish as that. Just perks to people to show how friendly they are and interested to be and joining for a number of days as everyone's been showing up.
So-
as the discussion
Go ahead.
going on, you see a bird fly up and land on Radagast's shoulder, cawing frantically. A few moments later, you hear the sound of horns echo out of the woods. Pretty soon, a dozen riders emerge from the shadow of the trees. You recognize the garb as the men of Tyrant's Hill. They're all armed, and their weapons seem both well made and well used. Two of them have big sacks tied to the back of their mounts. At their head rides a dread figure wearing a helm made in the likeness of a dragon. You can see a number. Go ahead. Yep.
Are their weapons bare, or are you just saying that their weapon? Are they coming in as attacking?
They don't look like they're attacking, no, but they're definitely well armed. You see a number of the woodmen moving to block their path. And Ingomar walks up behind the wall as the horses come to a stop in front of the guards. Only woodmen and their friends are welcome here, he declares. The man removes his helm. But I am a woodman by blood and birth. Don't you recognize me? You called me Ingold, your son. The men now call me Mogdred.
Oh.
Shit.
Dun dun dun.
Ingomar seems shaken by this news, whereas Galavera, he sits down almost in shock, whereas Galavera jumps up and calls out to him, Ingold, you're alive. I am. For many years I was the slave in the dungeons of the necromancer. Now I am lord of the place you call the Tyrant's Hill, and I command many men. Points a sword at Amaliota. You and yours would be long dead if not for our protection. Darkness returns to the forest, had you but the eyes to see it. There are orcs in Fenbridge, and the shadows stir in Dol Guldur. One of the warriors in the crowd then calls out, what is it you want here at this Folk Moot? Just responds with scorn. A seat in the council of the woodmen, tribute from the Black Tarn, wives for my warriors, gold from the mountains. That stranger, and he points to Sewin the Generous, offered you trinkets and sweet cakes. My offer is of a more practical sort. He and his 24 followers then upend the sacks they brought with them. Dozens of orc heads tumble from them. What say you, he demands arrogantly. I actually got a picture for that.
Uh-oh.
Sure. Okay, can you see that?
Yes.
Still loading for me.
I can see it.
There it is. Nice. That looks really cool.
Okay, there's quite a bit of stirring at this, and you can tell from the talk that people are very wary of him, whether he's Ingomar's son or not. They are not very eager for this, although Galavara goes up to Lady Tolthriel. You wanted to earn your keep? Well, this is how you earn it. My son deserves a place among the woodmen. I want you to see that his proposal passes.
The entire proposal?
That is how it goes. He put his proposal up. I want to see. I want it to pass the vote. I won't have my son driven from us again. Obviously, his time in the dungeons weren't kind to him, but he doesn't need to be scorned and driven off.
Okay, now there's a contradiction between helping Galavera and helping Radagast.
Team Radagast, what?
Not sure it's a contradiction yet.
Well, Radagast wanted cooler heads to prevail, and this guy does not possess a cool head.
He does have heads, though.
They are not cool.
So basically, there are going to be 3 different proposals put up. The welcome Saywin's people to the Woodmen, build a new hall at the Black Tarn, and welcome the Lord of Tyrant's Hill into the Woodmen. Those are the 3 proposals, and you're free to decide what you want and then try to sway people one way or the other on each of them.
Now, what are the
I forgot the arrival roll. Yes, we should have done that. Let's go back and do the arrival roll. So that could affect things here.
Oh, yeah.
The guide rolls a D8. Your plus and minus cancel out. So it's going to be a D8 plus 1 with the easy terrain.
6.
Let's see, 175. Grimly determined. So you get a plus 1 bonus on your next embarkation roll.
Okay.
Actually, you were supposed to have that this time. I see that in my notes.
Yeah, I forgot about that as well.
Take a plus 2, maybe?
Well, what did I roll? I rolled an 8 or something, right? Oh, I get... yeah.
You got the one that let you ignore the first level.
Fine weather.
Yeah, fine weather. So what would have been a 9? Let's see, that's page 167.
All terrains are considered 1 grade easier.
That's already as easy as it could be.
Yep, that's it.
So it doesn't help or hurt anything. That's good to know.
Yep.
So I'm just going to wait on you guys now to figure out what you want to do here.
Yeah, I wanted to know, is tribute something that woodsmen pay to each other? That doesn't sound very...
Generally, although officially the only part of the proposal it looks like it's going to be is for them to join the woodsmen and get a seat. The tribute part will be is just a demand he's making. It isn't an official part of the proposal.
How about the wives and stuff like that?
The proposal that's officially being put up is that he joins the woodsmen given a seat.
Hmm.
I mean, he seems like he's contradicting a lot of what we stand for. You know, he's being a dictator, not a friend.
Also,
a lot of people talking. They don't really like how he came as a demanding tribute rather than asking for friendship, or how he considers the Black Tarn part of his domain. But there's also talk that wouldn't it be better to have these warriors as allies instead of enemies? And if they refuse him, he could threaten the new Black Tarn village and anyone traveling to East Bight. Plus, he is Inglemar's son, and Inglemar was a good leader. His son clearly suffered in the dungeons, but does that mean you should reject him outright, as his mother's saying?
and it's just going to be a straight up or down vote. There's no amendment process.
Correct.
Yeah, I do not like I definitely don't like the idea of this guy becoming a full member.
Yeah, I don't think I can support that. I'm going to definitely vote for East Bight.
Especially since he was trying to surprise us with those orc heads when we already knew that he long ago knew that the orcs were there and deliberately tried to keep anyone else from finding out about it.
Well, he wanted his big dramatic moment.
I assume that the existence of the orcs is now common knowledge now that we told Radagast.
Pretty much, yeah.
So we just ruined his surprise.
You were saying that Heartfast was kind of against letting Seawin in, right?
Yeah, well, they're mixed too. That everyone seems pretty mixed on that one. Some of them, the leader of Heartfast in particular is one of the leaders that seems the most wary of newcomers. But a lot of his followers are saying that we're actually farther from Woodman Town than the East Bight is, and we're considered full members.
So I guess I might want to talk to that the mountain leader and see if I can convince him to change his mind on the issue.
Mountain Hall.
Yeah, Mountain Hall, that one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so I guess I ask him what's the source of his opposition.
The Woodmen are a close-knit group. They say they're kin, but they're very distant kin. To me, they're all strangers. I don't know if letting in new people could just change what the Woodmen are.
Okay,
They
so
don't know our ways.
So in response, I'm going to say that being so close-knit is actually a weakness. And from my time in Mirkwood, it's obvious that the main problem you have is that there aren't enough people for the land.
Okay.
Okay, so roll persuasion, I guess.
Yeah, make that a persuasion check.
And my super awesome sword gives me advantage. Pooh.
Actually, the DC on this one is only a 10.
Woo!
Nice.
So you just passed. He's not entirely convinced, but he does see some of the wisdom in what you're saying. My own people have made similar arguments. Perhaps I am a little too stubborn and untrusting.
I'd like to talk to Radagast and see what he thinks of these two, Sywin and I don't know his name. What was his Magdra?
Magdred.
Oh, that's not what I wrote. Thank you.
And his birth name, Ingold.
Thank you. I just want to get a feel for what Radagast thinks about what's going on since he sent us here.
See, he's friendly enough, but seems reluctant to say much. He says, if you want me to interfere too much with the decisions of men, then you may be mistaking me for another wizard.
Yes.
So, who was in most favor of the Mogdred's proposal? I want to try and convince them to not be in favor.
That would be his mother.
Ooh.
DC is going to be higher than 10.
Yeah, but I'm a.
You don't need to talk to someone specific. You can just make an argument in front of the whole group too, to just try to sway people in general.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to try and do then. That's my. I am a warden. I got to be loud. I'll talk about how the strength of man is not from demanding tribute of each other, but from banding together in common cause. And clearly, the intent of Mogdred is not just to remain a woodman, but to rule the woodmen. And therefore, we should not let him do that.
Can I help him with his role? Because I'm going to pipe up that the woodmen have no kings and we want no kings.
Well, standard rules for assistance. If you're trained, you can give him.
In persuasion. I'm probably not trained in that. I am not. Never mind. But I will say that.
Yeah, we'll say you're trying to help out, but doesn't give him a bonus on the roll.
Yeah.
Oh, and question is the voting a secret ballot or is it open?
It's open.
Yeah, I think I don't get any advantage or anything, and I can't use my warden's gift, so good luck. Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It actually seemed that the crowd was already generally on your side, but your words seem to be crushing any doubt, although Galavara approaches you angrily. What are you doing? This is my son. You realize that. You should be welcomed back into us. He goes over to Lady Tolthriel too. I've talked to your friend here. I've told you I want this to pass. I'm counting on you. You wanted to work for me. This is the most important task I've ever had for you. I'm unwavering on it.
So is she expecting a response from me immediately?
Pretty much.
Okay, so I say that although I would be perfectly willing to accept Ingold had he come as a friend and companion, his current actions disqualify him from a true place among us.
Have you considered that maybe we should be the ones to extend the end of friendship? That if we welcome him warmly, we could bring him back to the ways of the woodman. That rejecting him could only lead to greater sorrow.
I respond that I think he would have to earn a true seat on the Woodman Council. Although I would be happy to welcome him as an observer, perhaps, he hasn't demonstrated that he's willing to work for the benefit of all of us.
Well, she's pretty steamed at you, but she storms off.
Yeah, there was probably no way around that.
Is Ingold like sequestered somewhere, or is he available to talk to?
Well, you can talk to him if you want.
Yeah. So I want to get more of a feel for him. You know what he did make a big show of coming, and he seems kind of abrasive. I want to see if I can figure out, is this just for show, or is he really mean to bulldoze his way in?
Yep. So, you want to role play it a bit, or You walk up to approach him. His men go as if to bar your path, but he waves them away. Approach.
What would you like to be called? Ingold? Mogdred?
Mogdred is what I've been known as for some time. That's probably the easiest.
So Mogdred, that's quite the catch of orcs you have there.
Yes. This is what the woodmen need, not petty payments from some new settlement in East Bight. You need strong protection from the true dangers of this area. Times may be peaceful now, but not as peaceful as you might think.
Protection. Are you? Do you mean to rule over the woodsmen? We're not really one to like kings.
I don't mean to declare myself king. The area of the lake that the Black Tarn live in is my domain, but I don't mean to rule over all the woodmen. That's just the area that's under my direct control. I'd like to join the woodmen, and they would be my subjects. But I simply seek a spot on the council, and of course, wives for my men. Tribute from the Black Tarn, but that's a separate matter.
But if your land and their land are the same, why would you not join the Black Tarn?
Join a small settlement like that. You do. I think you underestimate the forces I've got arrayed for me. That I am the real power in this area. I'm the only one with trained soldiers, with forces of the size necessary to protect us. They're in my. I consider them my domain because it's just some village that's near my territory. It would be foolish and to leave it to a group that's not under my control, where it could become a weakness to enter my lands and assault my areas, assault my holdings.
That's impressive. Perhaps this isn't the right forum for what you're proposing. Maybe you should invite the council to see what you've done and show them the
I did show them. You saw the orc heads, didn't you?
I mean a settlement. I'm sure you have farmers and the like, right?
Most of my men are soldiers. We've setting up some basic farms, but that's what the main problem with needing tribute, that it costs to keep the soldiers fed and housed and under control. You need the protection, and I need the tribute to make sure that the protection can keep running. I don't have the farms or facilities to be self-sufficient.
It just makes me feel like you need to join a settlement. Just if not the Black Tarn, then I mean an outside. It sounds more like a mercenary group than an actual settlement for.
You seem awfully determined on making me join someone else. I do not intend to be subservient to anyone. I want to join with full power and right as a member of the city member of the council. Not sit here and ask my men to bow their heads to some small village and consider ourselves under them.
From what I understand of woodsmen, this is out of character. we don't really have kings
Correct.
or anything like that. So you're not really. So he really wouldn't be bowing to anybody, right? I mean, I guess we have chiefs.
Being a full member of the council, and he does need some sort of. He's insisting that he needs tribute to feed his people.
I'm not sure what to do with that because that doesn't sound to me like a full. To me, it sounds like we'd be paying for a bunch of bandits or mercenaries. Not really, and mercenaries. Why would they? If he has no citizens, no civilians, then what purpose is him being on the council? That's I'm trying to. I'm actually trying to see it from his perspective and see, but at the same time, see it from a perspective of all he has is an army, right?
Pretty much, he's got some support and some civilians, but like I said, they're trying to get some food hunters and maybe even try their hand at farming, but they don't have enough to support themselves, at least not at this point.
Yeah, I think the timing of this was wrong because we didn't even know he was alive until he just showed up.
Yeah, we have been
think
kind
if
of
we
assuming
worked together.
that it's him. Might not be.
Pardon?
We've just been kind of assuming that it's actually Mogdred or Ingold, but could be a glamour, a deception.
Right.
We just have to his family or his mom and dad go by.
Okay. I think the rest of my words aren't for him. Because what I would like to suggest is that he not be a full member now, but let's see where it goes because we just met him. It's kind of hard to invite somebody in when you've only just met and we don't know anything about him. I mean, we even know less than what we know of Seawin, from what I understand.
Yep.
So I think I'm going to walk up to Mogdred and use Piercing Sight on him. So he has to make a DC 12 Wisdom save.
Oh yeah, he critically saves.
Okay, then
There's
he's
you right
just
back down.
then he's just creeped out.
Who's this creepy foreigner?
Maybe he thinks your stare was for a different reason. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Uh-oh.
No, he knows that something is amiss and feels discomforted by my gaze.
Well, that could be it. Like, I know I asked for wives, but
I believe the only proposal you haven't weighed in on one way or the other is building a new hall at the Black Tarn.
Well, that one seems certain to pass, right?
Yeah, seems like the support is pretty wide. Some people are fearing that it might not be a good time, especially with everything happening with Mogdred right now. That's the only reason that it might fail at this point, is that it might be a poor time to build with everything going on.
Just feels weird to tell people not to do something. Like, it doesn't hurt anyone to build a longhouse, right?
I think it's a status symbol. You're no longer a small village.
Yeah, it might help to boost the prestige of Black Tarn because it sounds like they might be on the front line in a war against Mogdred.
Right. What does his Mogdred's troops Do they look woodsman or do they look foreign?
You don't think they're too foreign. Not all of them. Obviously, not all of them are woodmen. You think there might be some with at least some woodman blood, or possibly some woodmen, but you don't recognize any from Armaclans. You don't think they grew up in woodman towns, but they're probably somewhat distant cousins.
Okay.
They're not like men from Gondor or anything like that.
I think I would support the building the longhouse, and I would try to get people to consider. It sounds like he's going to get voted against. I would like to have people consider giving it time, maybe hold it open till the next moot once we get to know him better. Is that something we could do? Can we hold things over?
I mean, you theoretically could. You'd have to convince him to do it.
Yeah, that's what I want to try to do. Who do I need to convince?
Well, you could try to convince someone specific, or just do a general.
I'm good. Okay.
Vote, like get on stage and talk.
Yeah, I'll do that. So it's a persuasion.
Yep.
Yikes.
You can do other things if it fits what you're trying to do. It's not locked into that. But if you're just talking and that's what you're doing is honestly trying to convince him, then yeah, that's persuasion.
Yep. I can't think of anything else that would it could be, because that's not what I'm trying to do. Nope.
Yeah. You get up there, but you don't seem to do a very good job of public speaking. Just kind of being wishy-washy about it. Like, well, everyone, let's just maybe put it off. And you finally you're interrupted when Mogdard gets back and says, "You're asking us to wait when my men need food. We need
That's
to."
a separate. You told us that was a separate thing.
It's a separate thing from joining, but are you really going to agree to just pay tribute to some foreign forces nearby you? I'm trying to integrate into your society in a mutually beneficial arrangement. Why can't you all just realize that this is good for everyone? You need protection from orcs, and worse than orcs. I have men. We need food. We need other supplies. This works for everyone, but it needs to be done now.
He actually convinced me, which is probably why I'm wishy-washy. I'm only a 17-year-old kid. Come on. He actually makes a good point.
I'll point out that doing it, well, even if you have noble intentions, doing it in this fashion indicates like it's the way the shadow would do it, and we should fight the shadow using not the shadow's methodology. That's part of why they're the shadow, you know? You don't come demanding tribute, you ask cooperation. And to be frank, your attitude as an entitlement is gross. He's gonna kill me, isn't he? My character's gonna die.
He's staring at you pretty hard, but well, excuse me if I don't fit with your image of society that I've dealt. You want to talk about the shadow? I was in the dungeons of the shadow for years, being tortured. You don't deal with the shadow as anything but the harshest, most firm manner. You kill it, or it does worse to you.
I just silently say I don't think Ingold ever left the dungeons. And then I turn around and go back to the out of the circle.
So if no one wants to make any further discussions, or I think no one's still. You kind of switched that into another discussion on Tyrant's Hill. No one's really done anything either way on Black Tarn, have they?
I would support it. I haven't. I guess I haven't made a speech about it, but I would definitely. I think that's a good idea, especially if there is issues with the South coming from the South. We need to have a strong settlement down there.
Okay, you could roll if you really want to try to influence it.
I'll be worse than not doing anything. Persuasion. Woohoo!
Well, you do a pretty good job this time. You think that the people are generally on your side, that they're supporting a further settlement there, that what you say makes sense, that you need to make sure that people already living there are properly protected if things do go south. If no one else wants to go any further, they start bringing things up for vote.
I'm ready for the votes.
Yeah, first off, they're doing Shaywin's proposal, and although there was a good bit of debate, the woodsmen do vote by a fairly significant majority to accept Shaywin's people into the woodmen. Next up is Black Tarn. It looked like there might be some conflict with that one, but if because of the Hound's last minute speech, it's back in near full support for that. Finally, the vote for welcoming Mogdred into the people of Tyrant's Hill into the woodmen. At this point, especially with you guys talking against it, it's almost 90% against it. That it's pretty firmly rejected. As soon as the vote finishes, Mogdred stands up angrily, says, "You really don't know what you've done, have you? Well, I will not let my men starve. We could have done this. I wanted to do this the peaceful way, but my men will get food one way or the other. So
Is that a
see us
threat?
again soon. That's a promise." And then he gets up, beckoned his men, and they all ride off.
I think that just shows his colors. He was going to take it whether or not we voted for him. Did everybody drop off, or you guys, John? Did I drop off?
I'm back. Sorry, I had to
Drop off.
I'm sorry?
I said I didn't hear anyone drop off.
Okay. I didn't hear anything for a while, and I just got worried. Okay, yeah, so that doesn't seem like something a friend would do.
Ingomar looks morose about this whole thing, but has been keeping his thoughts to himself. The same cannot be said for his wife, who's very angry and yelling that you drove her son away. And she tells Lady Tolthrill that you can forget your job. Yeah, I suggest you leave me be for a while if you still want to be allowed to even remain in the village.
Well, easy come, easy go. So I ask around, does anyone recognize any of his men?
Yeah, you can't find anyone who knows any of the people specifically, other than, of course, Mogdred himself.
That's pretty weird when you think about it. What, these guys just show up out of nowhere?
That was my concern as well, which is why I was asking if they were foreigners.
How does he have so many men that no one's ever seen before?
That's my concern as well.
My concern is that he's a dick.
I concur.
I mean,
Enter that into the minutes of the meeting.
Yes. Dick.
Margaret officially proclaimed a dick.
Well, at least he didn't mention the people we killed of his.
I don't know if he knows that was you. He wouldn't have any way of knowing.
Except for the guy who
Assuming he
escaped.
went back and admitted
Oh,
what.
yeah. Or even made it without a weapon.
After this, people start generally preparing to leave. Preparations are implying is already done for sending some people east, even directly from Roscabal to start helping with the building and expansion of Black Tarn. Boffrey's still going around looking for people who might help him scout out the old forest road.
Oh, why don't we go talk?
I'll volunteer for that.
I was going to say, are we expected to get Galavera back?
At this point, you think you get the feeling she wants to find her own way back.
Okay, well then I would definitely want to talk to Bothry as well.
Hail there, fellows. So, are you here about my request for help scouting the old forest road?
That sounds like something in our skill set.
Excellent. I don't know how much you've heard about this endeavor. Do you want you know the details of it, or should I explain?
I'd like you
No
to explain.
Anyway, I'm was sent by King Dane to the Woodmen of Mirkwood on a royal command. I'm supposed to examine the state of the old forest road and determine if it could be reopened. King Dane is hoping that if it's good enough, we might be able to repair it and reopen the route and establish some trade between the east and the west.
King Dane, what is he the ruler of? Who
He's
is
the
King
king
Dane?
He's the guy who
Dale?
killed Small.
Okay.
I mean, if this works out, we'll get a lot more trade in at least the region, which is great.
Do you have
Excellent.
any thoughts on expenses or things like that?
Yes, for your assistance, I'd cover the immediate expenses of the traveling with a small payment as well. Let's say for the three of you, 100 silver to split.
Well, I just got fired.
My eyes light up. That's more money than I've ever seen.
I will definitely go for that. That's 1/10 ish the way to the next level in.
If we still have it.
And if you're amenable, I've already got the tools I need brought with me. So whatever you're available to head out, we can begin making preparations.
Well, there isn't anything else I wanted to do here.
And I think it's best if we don't head back to town immediately.
I agree.
We've got a bit of an angry mayor issue.
I agree. I don't think we have anything outstanding either. From my notes, the only thing I have open is West Eves, which might be a ghost story.
And if you're ready, I guess you could make the next embarkation roll with a +1.
Woohoo! All right, embarkation roll.
D12 plus proficiency plus half wisdom.
Yep, I put a nice little thing in
It's going to
here.
be a peril rating of 2.
Peril
getting
rating
to
of 2.
Yep, you're going to stick to, assuming you plan to stick to generally safer areas. You don't have roads all the way, but you won't be going through anything particularly dangerous.
Okay, so it's going to be this minus 1. Yikes. I just say that because it's low. Lower than we've rolled. Let's see what that is. Embarkation rolls.
167.
5. Oh, no. Foul weather. The rain falls constantly. The wind chills to the bone. The sun beats down unrelentingly. Frost numbs toes and fingers.
Seasonally cold weather, too. It's still early spring. So
Yes.
you have a cold day.
Rest is hard to find, sleep is elusive, and every mile walked feels like 3. As a result, each member of the company suffers 1 additional level of exhaustion.
Ugh.
We get +1 exhaustion now.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, that was with my +1. That's why it was -1.
And that's disadvantage on ability checks.
That's standard rules. Let me look that up quick.
Where does exhaustion go?
It's on the center right.
Oh, it's one of the count things.
You have disadvantage on ability checks. If you get up to 2, your speed is halved.
Well, we had to have a bad weather at some point.
We went directly from amazing weather to bad weather.
It's spring.
That's the mood.
As soon as Mogdred leaves, lightning strikes. Starts
Those-
pouring.
You'll all pay. Krakoom.
So I'm not sure if that went as well as Radagast had hoped.
Yeah, I should have probably checked in with them to make sure that I didn't piss them off, but I didn't want to be needy.
Yeah. Well, after he said he wasn't Gandalf, I know he didn't say Gandalf, but I know that's what he meant. I was kind of reluctant to talk to him. It's like, but you sent us here.
So the hunter has a particularly excellent chance to catch a good meal. You must make a wisdom survival check.
Okay, that's me. I guess that's a 12.
Yeah, just reading this to make sure there's nothing that affects it. You don't have feast fits for the ancient king, and you don't have meager supplies and poor meals, so no. And that does not pass.
Yeah, I know that.
Don't fail by 5 or more, so
It's
you gain a
dog
level
chow.
of exhaustion.
Oh man, it's dog chow for all of us.
Do we all get it, or just him? Or,
We all do.
ugh.
He fails in the hunt, and you all go pretty hungry, driving to meager supplies as your food is running spare since your hunter hasn't been doing a very good job.
Man. Well, you can't win
It's
them
pouring
all.
rain and we're starving.
Now, at this distance, you still got 2 more journey events before we get there.
Oh man.
I assume we don't get double the journey events because we're moving at half speed.
No. Although something you do mention you had the option to do is try and redirect your path and break up the journey, get an arrival roll at somewhere partway along the way, get some rest in, do another embarkation roll after that.
How does exhaustion work? It's 1, 2, 3 dead?
6
1,
is
2,
dead.
3, 4, 5, 6 dead. The next
Okay.
level up with disadvantage on attack rolls and saving throws.
Okay.
I'll double check the map to make sure I'm not wrong, but I'm pretty sure you're heading north from Rosgabal towards the Old Forest Road.
That would make sense. I would think it would cut across to where
Yeah.
Colin's character's from.
Yeah, it's north of even the northernmost of the Woodman areas. So since you're not that far off, if you wanted to stop in Woodman Town or Woodland Hall, you could rest up, take a break there, try to recover some exhaustion.
I would suggest we do that.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, then instead of the next journey event, which I will save for when you start off again, make a arrival roll.
Okay. And that's a D8.
D8. Yep. Yeah. Straight D8.
7. Arrival rolls. Tall tales and great deeds. The company arrives with the tales of their journey on their lips, their spirits high and their thoughts filled with fine memories. This joyous mood is contagious to all but the most dour of folk they may encounter. Accordingly, the company receives advantage on all rolls pertaining to social interactions. This bonus will also apply if they should seek an audience at their destination. The bonus will remain until they fail at least one of these rolls.
Remember that time we were soaked and starving? Wasn't that so awesome?
You had some good tales. You made the most of it. Laughed about, had some fun at each other at your hunter's expense.
Yes.
Bonded a bit.
I can't believe I missed that deer. The only one we saw. That's funny. How could it be so good?
I just wanted to double check there weren't any special rules about removing the exhaustion. I can't remember. Normally we just remove one after a long rest.
Right.
And Woodman Town, I did declare with your starting sanctuaries. This is a sanctuary area, so I don't think there'll be any issue with that.
Yep. I'll go visit my parents. Yikes. Tell them about starting my own business. Healing.
Yeah, at the beginning of a fellowship phase, you would remove all exhaustion, recover all expended hit die. But if you're suffering from an unusual condition, then you would only recover half your extended hit dice. I knew there were some special rules. After lost hit point, only remove 2 levels of exhaustion.
Okay, so we can remove our exhaustion, but if we had to spend hit dice, we would only get half of them back, is what you're saying, right?
If you had an unusual condition.
Okay.
Does include if you're up to level 5 exhaustion, but otherwise exhaustion is not counted as an unusual.
So we can stop for a couple days, get rid of it.
So can we do a fellowship activity during this time?
I would say not if you're just planning to stay for a day or two. If you wanted to convince Boffrey to put it off for a few weeks and do it later when the weather's a little warmer or something like that, I would let you get away with it.
Yeah, I'd say keep going.
Yeah. I agree. Another embarkation? Or do we continue with the same roll?
It would be a new embarkation roll, and you don't get a +1 on this one.
So this is -2. Or it's -2, right?
D12 plus proficiency plus half wisdom bonus -2.
Yep. 4, even better. The wearisome toil of many leagues. The company finds that the maps that they consulted were poor, inaccurate, or out of date, or that the path. I'm sorry?
Not surprising. They call it the Old Forest Road.
Yeah. Or that the path they find themselves upon is beset with obstacles, dead ends, and difficult terrain, making the going harder than it should be. Throughout the journey, terrain types are classed as one grade harder to traverse.
Okay, so terrain 3 difficulty for all your DC rolls.
Get out of town and immediately trip over a route. Put that there.
Are we cursed?
At least we're not exhausted anymore.
Yes. At least the weather turned better.
Okay, here's one you haven't got before. Let's see what this one. Okay. So as you're traveling along, you spot off in the distance the scout does another group of travelers. You can either make a dexterity stealth check to avoid them, or the scout can, or any hero can make a charisma persuasion check to interact with them.
Well, I don't stealth, and I have advantage on persuasion, so I think we should try with the interact.
Works for me.
Sure.
Persuade.
Yep. You only just passed. With that extra one, almost cost it for you. But yeah, you walk up to them and well, you can role play it if you want. But
Yeah. Standard hail travelers. What brings you to these parts?
yeah, they look a little suspicious. But they are other. They do seem like woodmen, like just out doing some general hunting and other tasks. What brings you here? And is that a dwarf with you?
So I let Bothry explain.
He happily does and goes on about their plans to get the old survey the old road and hopefully repair and reopen it. They don't seem all that interested in his tales, but wish you luck anyway and give you some advice on the general terrain up ahead. You'll get advantage on the first roll of the next journey event.
Awesome.
And I wish you well and continue off if no one stops them.
And my sword is just super shiny.
I'm kind of upset I haven't gotten a smoke yet. I should have been smoking at the Folk Moot. That would have possibly given me some better rolls.
So I guess we're just continuing on.
Wait, I'm just double checking what your things were. It was Lure of the Road, Fallen Scion, Seeker of the Lost, and Driven from Home was Delianos, right? Yeah.
Yep, I'm Seeker of the Lost.
Fallen Scion here.
So the hunter finds an opportunity to gather supplies.
Uh-oh.
You have advantage.
Oh, yes.
You have advantage on the first roll.
Cool. Okay, let's see. Survival?
So, yeah, but wait, don't roll yet.
Okay.
So you have the wisdom survival check as you have an opportunity to gather supplies. Although, while you're looking for food, you chance to spy some new path amidst the trees or other points of interest in the distance. if you were by yourself, you could pursue this new avenue without hesitation. You're the Lord of the Road one, right, Adam? You said. Yeah.
No, yes, I am Lord of the Road.
Yep. So without hesitation, but instead you're bound to the company, and their path leads in a different way. You can choose to return empty-handed from the hunt. Or you can gain advantage on the survival check by turning aside from the new trail and focusing on your task. You already have advantage, but if you turn away because of the Lord of the Road, you'll gain 1 shadow point. Going against your nature.
Yeah.
You can either gain a shadow point and then make the roll to potentially get food, or just give up and go back empty-handed. Wait, no, let me make sure I'm reading this right. It's tired. I didn't sleep well. You can choose to return empty-handed from the hunt, or you can gain advantage on the survival check by turning aside from the new trail and focusing on your task. So if you focus on the task and try to get food, then you get the shadow point. If you don't want the shadow point, you're empty-handed. Yep. Automatically. Which will give you a -1 to the arrival roll.
Okay, gotcha. And I don't get a savings throw against the shadow point. I just get it.
Just get it. Your choice is take a shadow point or make a wisdom survival check, which give you a chance to, with advantage, which would give you some extra food supplies, which would either remove a level of exhaustion or give 1 hit die to each hero, or restore 1 hit die to each hero. But since you're full on all of those, I think.
Yeah, we are. So that doesn't really do anything. So I get a shadow point, and what else? I'm sorry.
I would just return empty-handed, go explore the path a bit and return empty-handed, and then you get nothing. Nothing would happen except the -1 arrival roll, or you can take the shadow point. That's basically it.
I gotcha. So it's a -1 arrival roll or a shadow point.
Yep.
Crap.
You consider it from the game mechanic or the role-playing mechanic.
I think I would do it.
Check out the interesting path.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's why I'm on the road. So I will gain a shadow point and check out the new path.
Now, if you check out the new path, you don't get the shadow point. You just get a -1 on the arrival roll. It seems weird to me. I think
going against
your
my
selfish things. That's not how it reads. I guess going against your nature gives you the shadow point in this case, rather than hurting your friends. But that's how I'm reading it.
Okay, so my decision wouldn't change though, because I was role playing it from my character standpoint. I believe that I would actually want to see. I have Lore of the Road, so I'd actually want to see where that road went. It might be a better
road. Don't find any supplies, so your group is a little short-handed on supplies. You're still doing bad at getting stuff, but then you get a -1 penalty to the arrival roll.
Okay.
Just tell them you couldn't find anything.
Yep. They should be used to that by now. For this part of the adventure. Sorry, guys.
So hungry.
But there was this really cool direction. I could have sworn we had a better road.
Isn't the cool direction north?
Okay, and then you continue on a little hungry, but you do reach the area you're headed for. You can make your arrival roll.
Okay, so it's a D8 -1. I'm sorry?
Yep, D8 -1.
Oh my God. Empty bellies. Regardless of whether the company... I'm sorry?
It makes sense. It's fitting.
Yep. Regardless of whether the company has enjoyed fine food throughout the journey or has subsisted on cold, hard trail rations, during the final leg of their journey, their supplies dwindle rapidly, and they arrive at the destination feeling the pangs of hunger gnawing relentlessly at them. This hunger will be a distraction to them, and everyone in the company gains a level of exhaustion.
Good thing you stopped partway.
Yes.
Yep, 3. You'd be disadvantaged on all the attack rolls and fucking throws, I think.
Worst hike ever.
Well, you're making your guy do double duty. Not doing a good job at either.
Hey, let's see you try it.
Mothra hasn't been doing anything.
Yeah, what's he been doing?
Working on a map while you've been going.
I guess that's okay.
Anyway, he's still in pretty good mood actually. After it's 9:30. Do we want to continue this next week?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, talk to you guys next week.
All
Next
right.
week.
I might have to level up my side character to give us a 4th if we want, for at least to try that. A lot of the stuff is balanced around 4.
Yeah.
Gilianos doesn't come back.
Yeah, I guess I'll poke him. See what happens.
All right. Talk to you next week then.
All right. Oh, Colin, have you been able to take a look at your the new guy?
Not closely. I can do that this week or tonight, tomorrow.
Okay.
Too.
No rush. No rush. I'm working on armor for the other characters right now.
Gotcha.
Cool.
You guys still liking the Middle Earth? I know it's a lot less combat oriented than standard D&D.
No, I think it's a fun change.
Yeah, I just need to keep remembering that I can give people wardens kicked out of combat. Because I can do it on an ability check, attack roll, saving throw, and now damage roll. And I think ability checks include skill checks. But yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
a little
enjoy
rusty
the-
on my role playing abilities, but they're coming.
Enjoyed the Folk Moot because I can always try to tweak things more to people's likings if they do or don't like certain parts.
I liked the Folk Moot. I like combat too, but it's good to change it up once in a while.
I like the twist.
Yep.
The dramatic entry, the interruptions during our conversations.
I think in a standard game we would have fought. The
That's how
guy
you solve all your problems. It's the regular D&D.
Yep. Yeah, I'm happy.
If you would have revealed that they had more soldiers waiting outside and the whole place would have been raided.
Exactly. That would have been a standard game, but now we got to play the long game. I'm sure they'll get the Black Tarn will get good and raided next time we hear about them.
I think this campaign covers something like 30 years.
Wow. Nice.
So we're going to have to retire characters at some point.
Yeah, they recommend you start planning that you have kids and can raise your kids and have the rules for having your kids take over and stuff like that.
Gosh, that means I need a lady.
Where am I going to find a suitable husband in Mirkwood?
Well, you get to go home once in a while. You know, for your
Yeah. In the year-end fellowship, you're always allowed to visit your home.
right.
Just you go home 1 year, come back, you have a child, you take the child back the next year. Wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Husband can take care of everything.
Gonna need something better than a +0 farm.
Yeah,
You
a
can roll a new
+0
character like
farm where
that,
the mayor doesn't like us anymore. Or the chief, I guess.
You don't have to do any of that stuff. You can still just roll up a new character like you would when someone died in D&D.
Yeah. I think it'd be fun though to think that out. You had a character that got married in my campaign and moved into retirement.
Which one was that?
Ben's character, the
Oh yeah.
the prophet.
Yep, I remember now. Yeah.
That was all from a roll of a Corral's table, I believe.
That may have been how it started. I was doing that a lot in that campaign.
Yeah.
Well, see y'all.
All right. See ya.